then sometimes they do make that decision to pull the ICE hold, which is a miracle.
That's why it's always important that you speak to immigration attorneys or criminal attorneys at our office.
In criminal court, you're innocent until proven guilty, and it doesn't work that way with immigration. So,
but even after that sentence, you're also facing a possible deportation. So, hello, everybody. My name is Attorney Diaz Gaeta. I am with
Jessica Combs.
And we are with Diaz Gaeta Law. And here we want to give some tips and pointers about what we see about the law and how we can help people. So today's topic will be about ICE and criminal arrest and what triggers immigration or ICE detainers. Jesse?
So, in our office, we have immigration attorneys, we have criminal attorneys, and we often end up working together when we have a client that might have both criminal and immigration issues. And Zach, I wanted you to kind of explain when and how do we find out that someone has an ICE hold after they have a criminal charge?
Yeah, so typically once a person is arrested, it doesn't matter for what it is. Once you've got handcuffs and you're sent to the jail, you will be processed, you'll be booked. They'll take your fingerprints, they'll take a photo of you. And then afterwards, depending on what jurisdiction you're in, you may be speaking to an ICE agent there at the facility or a liaison that works with ICE. They typically will ask you for your social security number, where you live, where you're from. And then at that point, that's when I've seen where it triggers an ICE interaction. If you don't have a social and you tell somebody that you're not from here, that's when you can get an ICE detainer. At that point, my understanding is they'll communicate with ICE. They'll put the detainer on you, and that means that even if you pay the bond, even if you're eligible for a bond, that if you pay the bond, we'll get into other things of what happens, but it'll come up in the system at the jail that you've got an ICE detainer. So if you pay the bond or you you plead guilty, then that's the only way how you get interaction with ICE. Is that right? That's what you're...
Yeah. And, I know ICE only has a certain period of time during which they can pick someone up. So 48 hours. I know that we often have people call our office and ask, can we get the ICE hold lifted?
Yeah. And so what do you, when somebody, and this is where it's beneficial to work with an office that handles both immigration and criminal defense. But at some point, when people come to you before even speaking to a criminal attorney, what is it you tell them?
So I will tell them typically, we can't get an ICE hold lifted. Once ICE has made that determination that you are in the country without legal status, they have the authority legally to put that ICE hold on you, and you'll be transferred to immigration, whether you pay the bond or whether you wait to resolve your case. So I usually tell them at that point, do not pay the bond. Number one most important thing, until you talk to an attorney, because once your case hits immigration court, a judge can consider those pending charges, even if you haven't pled guilty. So if you've been accused of a crime, and let's say you're accused of something like domestic violence, and you pay that bond, all the immigration judge is going to see is that you have a pending domestic violence charge. And if you work with an experienced criminal attorney who can get that charge reduced or dismissed before you're sent to immigration, you'll often be in a better situation.
Yeah. So, one of the things that we have to explain to people, I would like to stress to people, is that, there are attorneys that are criminal attorneys, and then there are immigration attorneys. And then there are attorneys that do crimmigration. It's a anamorphous type of philosophy where you're having to deal with a person's criminal case. Meanwhile, they have in the background immigration concerns as well. So the specialty that we have that a lot of solely immigration or solely criminal attorneys don't have is that we interact with clients and deal with their immigration issues alongside the criminal issues. So we know how to navigate those issues because if you were a citizen or a green card holder, you just pay the bond, you'll be out of custody, and you just wait until your case gets accused or indicted. But that's not the same, right? I mean, if you got an ICE hold and you're here without documentation, or you have like a pending asylum case or a pending court case with immigration, that's no guarantee that you're going to be able to remain here in the country. That's why it's always important that you speak to crimmigration attorneys or criminal attorneys at our office, because we're able to understand and try to process this case quickly, as opposed to the person sitting in custody, waiting for months on end until the case gets accused or indicted, because that could take months. And so, like you said, Jesse, I think it's really important to speak to like us, for instance, because we're able to, we know how to deal with those situations. That way, the inmate's not sitting in custody for the longest time. So, Jesse, after somebody is processed to ICE, either they pay the bond or they plead guilty to the offense or the case closes, what ends up happening then?
So that is the point at which the case comes to me or one of our other immigration attorneys, and we assess the case to see if that person's going to be eligible for bond with an immigration judge. And there are lots of factors that go into that. In Zach's world, in criminal court, you're innocent until proven guilty, and it doesn't work that way with immigration. So we have to consider past charges that were reduced or dismissed, current pending charges, and then what I try to do is give my most honest assessment to the client about the likelihood that they're going to be granted bond by an immigration judge. We have, some laws that have passed recently, like the Lake and Riley Act, that have really changed the game in terms of your eligibility for bond, because just a pending charge or an old charge that was dismissed could be a reason for an immigration judge to just say, you're not even eligible for bond. I can't even consider this case because you had something like an old shoplifting charge. We try to go in depth, with as much information as we can get our hands on to identify any of those problems that we'll have trying to get a bond. Yeah,
and so that's why it's possible, communicate with a criminal attorney that handles immigration as well. Call us. We give the free consults. We want people to be informed of their chances of dealing with the criminal case, and then dealing, because not only are you facing like a sentence, like a jail sentence, right? But even after that sentence, you're also facing a possible deportation. So, like you said, the misdemeanor, your everyday misdemeanor that normally speaking, even a DUI, which now is considered, an offense that people are denied bonds in immigration court because of it. So before this administration, we were seeing people were still being allowed to get out on bond if it was their only one offense of a DUI. But now it's like just one little misdemeanor is going to can deny the bond. So it's important to not pay that bond until a criminal attorney can try to deal with that criminal case before being sent to ICE, to give you your best possible shot at remaining here in the country legally. We've been doing this now for like over 10 years, and Jesse and I work on cases here at the office all the time. Jesse is my go-to person when it comes to sentencing, because we know how to modify the sentence to get it to an offense that even if we can't get the charges, or we don't get the charge completely dismissed, we can get the charge modified to an offense that's not going to trigger negative immigration consequences. That's not going to, where Jesse and the immigration team can still fight to get an immigration bond.
Yeah, and I think that's a large part of what we do here is, every day we're talking to each other and figuring out, well, we can, change this plea to be under this certain part of this statute, or have the sentence written in a certain way to where it will still leave our client with some good options when they reach immigration court. Because there are just those small things that, someone who only does criminal law might not know about. And even the most minor misdemeanor under Georgia state law might be something quite serious in immigration court.
Quick war story. We had a person facing aggravated assault charges for a fight over a boyfriend, right? This is a silly fight. She ended up throwing, I think, some bottles at her man's boo, the side girl, right, at her car, and now she's looking at facing criminal damage. It's a felony, right, for throwing a bottle at the car. Ridiculous situation, right? And being that I've seen those type of cases, situations play out so many times, I knew immediately that we were going to be able to work something out for this person. And the good thing was that she had an ICE hold, first time offense, young lady. And what we were able to do was get that reduced to a lesser offense. It was a misdemeanor offense that didn't trigger immigration consequences. And she had an ICE hold. Now, this we don't see too often. She ended up, we were able to end up getting the charge reduced. She didn't have to wait months on end. It was only like a month, some change in custody. However, after that, she got released. ICE never even came to pick her up.
Yeah.
Now, it rarely happens. I've seen it. And you tell me how often it happens. How often do you think?
I mean, very, very rare. And we can't make that happen. That's a determination that ICE makes. But ICE is looking at what happened in the criminal case. And if someone has a kind of immigration status that might be in a gray area, then they might put that ICE hold on because they see something serious like an aggravated assault charge. And then when they see that Zach's gone in and gotten it reduced to, a misdemeanor with no element of violence in it, then sometimes they do make that decision to pull the ICE hold, which is a miracle.
And Jesse, this is where this is the black magic I don't understand that you guys are able to do, because despite us, me working with immigration cases, it's very technical when it comes down to a crime involving moral turpitude.
Right.
Could you explain briefly? I mean, it's not, there's case law all about it,
sure.
But just like a quick.
It's a concept that's kind of hard to grasp. So, I mean, there's a whole group of crimes that are crimes involving moral turpitude. Essentially what it means is that you committed a crime that requires an intent to do something that is considered just kind of inhuman, whether that's to commit violence against someone or to deceive someone in some way. So it can apply to so many crimes, and sometimes crimes that are considered very, very minor misdemeanors under state law. But anything that might have that element of an intent to do someone harm or to deceive someone could be a crime involving moral turpitude. And it means that you're not eligible for bond with immigration court if you're convicted of that.
Yeah, exactly. So essentially, because there's in criminal court too, there's an intent involved in a lot of crimes. There's some crimes that are strict liability offenses, but for the most part, it involves some type of criminal intent to commit some type of crime. But there's so many different routes that that I've seen that kind of take it out of the realm of CIMT or crimes involving moral turpitude. But only speaking to an immigration attorney are you going to be able to determine that. Because otherwise, I mean, because of criminal is a state, typically your state offenses, immigration court defines intent differently and for different reasons. So again, that's why I stress speak to an office that does them both if you can. Or, if you already have a criminal attorney and you want to get some piece of advice from us, we work with other attorneys. We work with other offices where Jesse and the criminal team or the immigration team can work with your criminal attorney to let your criminal attorney know how to navigate it and what offenses that, will keep you safe. So, I mean, we do this often, right?
Yeah. I mean, I obviously we collaborate every day, but I have many clients who have criminal attorneys at other firms, and I'm always happy to talk with them and really urge them to please call me before, my client's going to plead to something, because I want to make sure that I can tell that person everything they can expect to happen as a result of that plea before it happens. And the other thing I'll say is when, if you end up in this situation where you've been accused of a crime and you call and you're lucky enough to have an attorney like Zach, make sure that you are honest and upfront about any criminal history you have. It only hurts you to not tell your attorney about previous arrests.
Yes, it happens all the time, and we're like your doctors, and we, for legal issues, it's really important that we know everything, all the good and all the bad. Obviously, we keep a lot of the information confidential, but it's really important because we're not able to best defend you. Jesse's not able to go in there, and when you get slapped with, by the way, your client has this pending or these previous convictions, and at that point, it just affects the entire case, right?
Yeah.
Really quickly, if somebody still has a conviction on their history or a pending case, and they come to you, even after paying the bond, are we still able to do something and to modify and help them retroactively deal with the situation that they had previously?
If they were convicted
or even pending?
Yeah. I mean, if someone comes to me and they've already been transferred to ICE custody and they have a pending charge, sometimes Zach and I will work together to see if we can do something about reducing that charge while they're in ICE custody. Also, sometimes if you've made that mistake and you've pled guilty and you didn't know what was going to happen with immigration when you we entered that plea, we do some post-conviction relief, which is where we go back to the criminal court and essentially explain to the judge and the prosecutor that our client wasn't given all of the information that he needed at the time that he entered a plea. And in some of those cases, we're able to basically time travel and go back and reopen the criminal case.
Which is also habeas corpus,
Yep.
right? I mean, they've got habeas corpus in immigration court, and there's a habeas corpus for state courts as well, essentially where your rights were violated or at some point you weren't informed properly. We're able to do so, but it's a case-by-case basis, and it's really good to speak to somebody who works on that.
So be honest with your attorneys. If you find yourself or a family member detained and accused of a crime, please give us a call, 678-503-2780. Our first consultations are always free, and we look forward to helping you and your family.